So we got Derek Holder here today to talk about the new NetBackup 5330 appliance. And Derek, I think initially I'd like to cover off what's the role of the 5330 in the new NetBackup infrastructure?
Sure, I'd be happy to answer that. So in order to talk about where the 5330 sits, we're first going to have to talk a little bit about the NetBackup architecture as a whole. So we have a three-tiered architecture for any NetBackup installation. You'll have a master server that sits at the top of the food chain, typically doing the administrative, catalog storage, job, policy management, etc.
That's where Ops Center would sit.
Absolutely. Yeah, Ops Center would be your one utility to manage all of these devices. It also does all of your reporting as well. The next layer down would be your media servers. So a media server's only function is to move data from point A to point B, store it for as long as you tell me to, and then move it off or get rid of it. And the following, of course, is the most important thing, your clients. These would be, well, the machines that host all of your data in whatever form they happen to be in.
And these clients, they got all the applications on them, and in the past, the master server and media servers would have just been, servers that were bought from hardware vendors that you then had to load NetBackup onto.
Absolutely.
And we're talking about replacing those with some of our purpose-built appliances.
Exactly.
There's some great advantages there, aren't there?
Well, I'm glad you said purpose-built. So in the case of a purpose-built device, it's a one-stop shop for whatever function the device is supposed to be doing in the environment. In this case, a 5230 running as a master server, as a purpose-built device, will have all of your operating systems, all of your licensing, it will have all firmware, everything is Symantec managed and managed through one package. So from that point, this device doesn't need to be micromanaged by multiple groups. It's a plug-in, do what it's supposed to do, which is manage and maintain all of the other NetBackup and backup target pieces within the infrastructure. So the next piece down, of course, is 5330, which is what we're here to talk about.
So it's the 5330 fits into the media server role?
Yes, and only the media server role. So it's locked in as a media server only device, meaning all its primary function, its only function in life, is to move data from point A to point B, and it does it very, very fast. The base model will come with 114 terabytes of disk that you can use as either advanced disk, which is just a one-to-one disk, or deduplicated disk. So you can move as much data as you want off of the clients onto this disk and have it deduplicate that data against itself or against the last copy that it had. So in the case that clients are Ethernet bound, or if they're SAN disk mounted, we can back up either one of them directly to the device. So there's no midstream that's needed. In the case of an ESX server, ESX host, that has a bunch of SAN attached client data that you want, we can move it directly onto the appliance without needing to go through any kind of a third tier piece. So scalability wise, if you need to start out with just 114 terabytes off of a base model, see how it works in the environment, start scaling it up, pushing more and more data towards it. If you see that you need more space than that, you can add a secondary tray of 114 to take it up to 229 usable terabytes of space. And in that case, again, you can continue to move that, move the client data onto the device. And if you feel that you're getting past capacity or you would like longer retention on the deduplicated data, then you can just add another 5330 into the environment and let that scale out as your environment needs it.
And it would make sense to keep like-type data on particular stacks?
Absolutely. We've found that most data types deduplicate obviously against themselves much better. So in the case of something like Oracle, which is a large data block type, when you deduplicate it against other Oracle data, there's a lot of savings of economy in that space. Whereas if you were to try and compare smaller file types like unstructured data against Oracle data, there's not a lot of similarities between the data, meaning you have incongruent data storage. So it's better to store against what you've already stored there.
Okay, so the 5230 is the master server, and that's the brains.
Yes.
And the 5330 is the brawn.
Yes.
And the 5330 cannot be a master server, can only be a media server.
That's exactly right.
That's what we needed to know. Thank you very much. Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed.
Pleasure.